Hi, this is medievalist.net, and we are here at the University of Toronto's Centre of Medieval Studies, and we are attending the Anglo-Saxon Studies Colloquium here. And here are the organizers, Peter Buchanan and Colleen Butler, who've started up this one-day session. It's had about 10 papers. And first of all, can you tell me how you got started this particular conference itself, this particular day?
I'll take this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
The harder questions. We ended up going down to the Anglo-Saxon Studies Colloquium is a group of medievalists kind of centered in the tri-state area that have been meeting for a long time so that they can talk to other medievalists because, you know, at the University of Toronto we have a giant graduate program in medieval studies, most places don't. So this is a way of people getting together and getting to talk about their different projects and stuff. And so this is the first time that Toronto has hosted. Last year I think it was at Harvard, and before that it's gone to the various members of the ASAP community, and so we're bringing it to Canada now, so it's great.
Now, you developed the theme, Crisis of Categorization. Could you tell me what that means, and the kind of papers that kind of, the 10 papers that we hear, like what did they kind of come from that?
Yeah, actually, it kind of came about as a result of the session that Colleen organized at Kalamazoo last year. Colleen was organizing a session on Carolyn Dinshaw's work and using it as a model for thinking about relations to the past within Anglo-Saxon itself. Since so much of her work deals with our relations to the past, we want to see if that kind of framework could be used to talk about their relationships with their pasts. And so in reading Carolyn Dinshaw's book, Getting Medieval, she talks about Marjorie Garber, who talks about the study of the crises of categorization, these moments in which categories dissolve and require a new approach. And that seemed like a very productive framework for talking about Anglo-Saxon England, because so much of the literature exists in these kind of interstitial points. And the papers that we've seen today have really evidenced that they come from different times that we think of as Anglo-Saxon, or that we don't think of as Anglo-Saxon, but have just as much in common.
There's periods, there's some of the papers that have been dealing with stuff that's happened post-1066, which most people think as the end of the Anglo-Saxon period. So it's a kind of a wide range, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, finally, for both of you, like, Anglo-Saxon studies has kind of been blossoming in about the last 10, 20 years, a lot more research and a lot more from archaeological perspectives and literary perspectives. How did you two get interested in the topic?
Want to go first?
You can go.
Okay. I guess I came to the topic, I always had an interest in English literature generally, and as I learned more and more, I really developed a love of language interactions and language history. And particularly, I feel like the Anglo-Saxon period with its relationships between Latin and a wide variety of interactors, not even just English, but Norse speakers, Celtic speakers who are interacting with them, provided a really rich area for exploring things that's particularly relevant to our world today, since I think we're having much more awareness of the way the languages interact with each other.
I think I came to it from a similar angle. I was an undergraduate English major. I took classes in medieval English and sort of fell in love with, I guess maybe the otherness, like the sort of the otherness of Anglo-Saxon poetry, wives and men in particular. So I decided to get into literature that way. And once I got to the center, I started becoming more interested in Latin because it's often so overlooked. Even though it was a flourishing tradition in Anglo-Saxon England, at the same time, we often tend to overlook it or not focus on it in the same way as we look at Beowulf over and over again, for example. So that's where I'm at.
And finally, would either of you have any advice to like undergraduates or people that are just kind of starting history and want to look into Anglo-Saxon studies? Where might they start? Like, what would you suggest they read, or kind of a topic that you would think would be kind of right for them to explore?
Well, that's a big question.
Yeah. I guess maybe if they wanted to do literature, they could look at the translations of the 8 Old English poems. That's a great place to start, I think.
Yeah, the 8 Old English poems, the book is great for helping you work through things. The Cambridge Old English Reader is a great resource as well for the beginning student looking to translate things. In terms of larger issues, I feel like things that are of really big interest recently, things about landscape and identity, have been on kind of the uprising, so that might be somewhere to get in on. But also, I think in the last 20 years, the role of Latin has really exploded, and people are looking more and more at that. So, take Latin and get in on that. It's not all about the classics.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. No?
Just agreeing.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful conference. We really enjoyed it, and good luck with your own studies and research.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.